Good morning. This morning I've been thinking about this little meditation tip, and it comes up because when we meditate, one of the loveliest things about meditation is that we can get our past our own minds. We get to quiet that incessant chatter and noise that is really kind of wearing and exhausting, not to mention often disturbing, because it's the old patterns and tapes that are running that are almost never in our best interests. So, and yet I'm always asked for meditation tips, like how do I meditate, how do I calm my mind, how do I get to a quiet mind? And I usually answer that that's not entirely the point. People come to me with those questions and they have an underlying assumption that what they're doing is wrong, that there is a right way to meditate, and that's not it. If you don't have silence in your head or whatever it is that we assume is the goal of meditation, that we're doing it wrong and we're not meditating properly. So I usually just answer that, as long as you're sitting there, it's meditation. As long as you keep coming back and sticking it out, that's the meditation. That is the point. And that's very true. And at the same time, it can be nice to have ways to make more ease and peacefulness and loveliness in the process. So I will share this one technique with you today. Sometimes we can't quiet our minds, and what happens is that we get lost in the chatter. It's like walking through, walking in a field or something, and there's this muddy, puddly spot, and instead of walking around it, we kind of blunder right into it without paying attention or noticing. And we don't notice until our feet are stuck in this muck, and it's, it seems to go on all around us, and we can't get out. It just kind of slogging through. And that's what meditation feels like sometimes when our minds are really active. But what's happened is that we've just blundered into that mind, that level of consciousness. So one way that sometimes works really well and really nicely is just simply to expand bigger than the noise, than the voice. And I mean that kind of literally. Imagine blowing your aura up with energy until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and expands you essentially, or your energy, out to encompass the moon, or out to encompass the sun or the galaxy, or to the very reaches of the universe, which I always consider is like reaching past the world of form and being able to connect directly to the divine source that's beyond the world of form. So that's pretty much the practice. My tip is just to see if you can't expand your sense of self or your energy field. And without even then focusing on the mind and the chatter and, oh, I'm stuck in this, and oh, I have to quiet this, or I have to change it, or I have to do something to it, which is, already antithetical to the idea of meditation and the success of meditation. Because when you're trying to control and restrict and resist, your ego is in its element. It's like there's no way you're going to get good results from that meditation-wise. So just leaving that, expand your sense of self, and if you can put your focus on that instead of on what you're trying to stop, focus on what you are wanting to feel and wanting to experience and wanting to be in the moment, this sense of expansiveness, that just takes you so far beyond the little tiny mental chatter that's going on in you. You don't even have to worry about it. It's not important. It may still be going on somewhere far in the distance, but you are so far beyond that, or up above that, that it can't drag you down. And I think that's basically all I need to say about that tip for today. And if you can, what if you could just expand your consciousness so easily without any resistance and overcome the struggle against your mental chatter simply by acceding, in a way, like yielding the floor to the mental chatter, but just not staying on the floor with it. Taking that elevator ride up to higher levels of awareness. And then there's no struggle against yourself. There's no fighting against the ego, which again, it loves. And there's that kind of, when we struggle against our ego, do you know what I mean? We get this sense of fighting ourselves, and it's an unloving state. It's in a way abandoning the ego that is afraid and trying to control and keep us small, because that's how it believes it keeps us safe. And there's just this lack of kindness and compassion and gentleness with ourselves, but just letting that be and expanding. Can you imagine how much nicer that feels? So give that a try sometime when you find yourself maybe getting a little frustrated with the brain's incessant chatter, or you find yourself in a struggling mode. See if you can't allow yourself to let that be and be okay. Maybe love it, and then rise above it. I think you will find that that's very effective, and if nothing else, just feels a lot better and is a lot more, even if the mind doesn't get calmer that way, which I think it has to, but even if not, your heart has become calm and your energy field has become peaceful instead of argumentative and conflictual, which is, maybe the biggest point of meditation. We're connecting. When you feel those energies, you're connecting directly with divine qualities. And that means that you are embodying more of the divine in that moment. Right? Isn't that what it's all about? So that's my tip for you today. And I send it out with all of my wishes and blessings in the world that you have wonderful meditations and just more peace and joy in your life. So I will talk to you again tomorrow. Have a really lovely day. Blessed be.